Boker Tov. It's Sunday morning, January 22nd, and I have read most of your posts so far, and I wanted you to see me a little bit more in the flesh, so that together we can get to know each other better and learn from one another. I'm deeply impressed with the quality of your writing, with the depth of knowledge that you bring to this course, and I was particularly impressed with your comments on the Moskowitz situation and the many Pesach activities that elicited so much passionate response on all your parts. And I wanted to comment on that as a whole rather than do individual posts, and if this video successfully uploads, you'll have some idea about what I'm thinking. I am impressed with your immediate grasp of the notion of big ideas, that we learn best when we can hang details on a big idea. And what's missing in the Moskowitz scenario is there's a lot of wonderful activities, but there are no big ideas. There's no linking, there's no interconnection between them. They're just a bunch of fun and maybe memorable activities. And by the way, memorable teaching and things that you will remember the rest of your life are important to think about when you are planning curricular projects. But if we look at education or curriculum as a subset of education, as a process of changing behavior towards a given end, a lot was missing in the Moskowitz scenario. Now, that definition of education or of curriculum development, of changing behavior, a process of changing behavior towards a given end, if you parse those words carefully, you'll see there's a lot to them. A process means something that's iterative, that is recursive, that you have to think about and go over again and again, and be flexible about, and shift direction sometimes when the need arises. Changing behavior, sure, if we teach a new vocabulary word, if we attempt to teach somebody how to put on tefillin or do netilat yadayim, or think about God in a different way, we are encouraging and fostering a change in a person's behavior, in a way of thinking or in a way of acting. Towards a given end means that as educators we have goals, we have outcomes that we wish for our learners, and the issue is how do we design backward to move them from where they're at to where we'd like them to be at the end of the process. So changing behavior, a process of changing behavior towards a given end, is very much at the basis of a lot of our thinking. We also know that the brain tends to hang details on big ideas. So one of the questions that is asked every year about Pesach is, why are there 3 matzot on the Seder table? Every teacher asks it every year, and if the kids don't remember, they think that the teacher the year before didn't do a good job teaching them. And every once in a while, a child will raise his or her hand, and maybe you would say the same thing. Oh, I know why there are 3 matzot on the Seder table. Kohen, Levi, Yisrael, right? The 3 tribes. What does that have to do with anything else at the Seder? It's a nice midrash. Yes, the whole Jewish people gathers together and celebrates Pesach and remembers the Exodus, but it's a small side detail, and there's no reason for people to remember it because it doesn't hang on anything else. The concept underlying why there are 3 matzot on the table is one that you know, but you don't always think about because it hasn't been taught to you conceptually. The reason there are 3 matzot on the Seder table is because of Lechem Mishneh, the double portion of manna that the Jews gathered Erev Shabbat or Erev Chagim, so that they'd have it for Shabbat or for the Chag, and today is memorialized by 2 chalot on the Shabbat table. Now at Pesach, we do something that we don't do any other time of the year. We break a matzah to hide for the Afikomen, and a piece of matzah unbroken is considered a loaf, a whole loaf of bread, and therefore when you get to the motzi matzah, those 2 brachot that we say at the Seder, you need 2 full unbroken loaves or pieces of matzah to do that bracha. So we start with 3 because we end up with 2 whole loaves, and that's Lechem Mishneh. That's the underlying concept of why there are 3 matzot on the Seder table. We could go into all kinds of examples of how people either have misconceptions or don't have a big idea on which they can hang details about the way they are framing their learning. The other issue about learning or teaching for understanding is a rule of thumb that I'll just throw out to you. There's research to show that I'm correct. Less is more. Doing less in greater depth leads to more enduring learning than trying to cover everything. And in this age of information overload and knowledge doubling every 5 years, maybe even faster than that, it is very difficult to teach everything. So unless we begin to give people basic core concepts on which they can hang details and then can apply to other details in their journey, Jewishly or otherwise, there's no way we can cover everything. I once asked a professor of mine when I was studying a medieval period in rabbinical school, how could the Rambam have done what he did? I mean, the enormous productivity, the amount of knowledge, the bringing to the table of so many incredible insights. And he said to me, Steve, there's a lot less for the Rambam to know in the 12th century. There was a lot less written about Judaism in those days. You know, so much came after him. The printing press wasn't even invented yet, so that there was a popular understanding of what Jewish law was. And yes, he was a genius, but he had a lot less to work with than we have today, which is the sum and total of 3,000–4,000 years of Jewish tradition. The other issue that many of you brought up is how Mrs. Moskowitz kind of thought about her work and the many different activities she tried to do. Again, there's this lack of spiraling. Nobody remembers what the children learned the year before. There's no record of what they were supposed to have mastered, so you could build on it. And very often one of the problems in Jewish education is that the kids start ab initio each year. It's as if they never heard about Pesach before. So everybody has to start at the very beginning, and they never get to a more advanced concept or understanding, no matter what their age level is. And one of the things I hope you will begin to think about in your curriculum development work here is, how do you spiral things up? How do you maybe take a basic concept and move it through the different developmental stages so that learners can appreciate and as they grow, have a deeper understanding of ideas that are appropriate for their age level. So all in all, I want to congratulate you on marvelous writing, marvelous posts, deep knowledge. Hopefully I could give you all A's right now for the course, because some of you have a great deal of knowledge already, but I think that we'll be able to refine some of those things and give you some new techniques and ways of thinking that will broaden your tool bag, so to speak, in the way you construct curriculum and think about teaching and learning. I want to again thank you for being my students. I look forward to a very productive semester and wish you all every success.